Welcome back. Behind me is my 2021 Cadillac CT4-V that I'm currently in the process of rebuilding after it was in an accident that caused damage to most of the passenger side. So far, I've replaced the front knee and a lot of the surrounding suspension components. Also taken off all the damaged body panels like the two bumpers and the fender. And last time I began working on the rear quarter panel, pulling that out, doing some metal and body work. And today I'm going to continue working on the car. Body work can sometimes be a pretty tedious process and it isn't always the most fun. So since I spent a lot of time working on this quarter panel last time, I'm going to take a break from the quarter panel and this door for now, and I'm going to return to it later. I still need to wet sand this down, check for high and low spots and any defects I need to work out, and continue working on this door later on. Where I want to start today is getting back to working on this front end. Since I last worked on it, I got some new parts in, like the bracket that is damaged here, one of the air baffles, and I already had the headlight, but I'm gonna get all those pieces on. So I wanted to put on the new headlight I have, but I can't do that just yet. After trying to fit it, I realized that the fender has to be on before the headlight can go on because that's where all the mounting points are. And I do have the new fender, but I also can't put that on just yet either, and let me explain why. The reason I can't put on the fender just yet has to do with this front passenger door. When I was looking at the auction photos, this damage didn't look too bad. The two edges are pushed in, but I thought those could be pulled out, reshaped, filled a little bit, and repainted to look good. When I saw the car in person, I thought the same thing. I thought it would be okay to work it out and it would look all right. Since then, I've taken a look at it a little more and I've decided to go a different way. So I think the front part of the door is a little bit too far pushed in to where pulling it out, it wouldn't look right and it wouldn't look the way I would want it to, and I wouldn't be happy with it. Another reason is looking at the top corner of the door, it looks like it's bowing out a little bit. So I think what may have happened is that the impact here has caused the door shell to kind of bow a little bit. So with that even being a couple millimeters out, I don't want rainwater or anything else being able to seep into the car. So I would rather replace this door than try to repair this one at this point. I did find a new door, a used one actually, and I found it for a great deal. I did have to cross international borders to go pick it up, but I think the drive and the time it took me to go get it was well worth it considering how much time I would have tried to repairing this. So while the fender's off, I do want to replace the door while I have easier access to those door hinges, and then we'll get back to doing that. Alright, taking the final exit home with the new door. That was a quick 540-ish mile round trip. So here's the new door I picked up. It doesn't have any damage or any dents or scratches all the way down. It looks really good. The only little imperfections I did see are these two little paint chips all the way down in the bottom corner, but I think that can be worked out pretty easily. It's a complete door with the inner panel and the hinges, everything's there. Glasses inside, but I'm gonna be replacing everything from my original door and putting it on this shell. I want to get this new door on so I can get back to installing the fender and the new headlight. So let's start by taking this damaged door off. Now that I have the front door off, I just want to take a look at this A-pillar and see if there's any other bends or anything, which it doesn't look like. It looks like it's perfectly straight and no issues there. So let's get the new door on. New door is on, looks great. Color matched. I was trying to plug in the connector, fumbled around with it for a little bit. Turns out it's a different harness. So I was gonna hold off to change out the interior panel and window and handle later on, but I guess I have to do that now because I need to get that harness replaced. But it looks good. Those two little paint chips are way down here at the bottom, so I'm not too worried about those, but yeah, once I get everything replaced on the door, then we move on to the fender and headlight. All right, so I've got this door apart, got the panel off, wiring harness out, and then I also took off the speaker and the window. I'm gonna replace that because the original one is tinted and this door looks like it got kind of wet, so I don't want to take any risks with that speaker, but it wasn't too bad. But man, taking a look at this panel, it's definitely seen some better days. It's a good thing I have the other one to replace it with. All right, I've got the second door disassembled, have all the parts I need, the mirror I didn't have, and the correct wiring harness. So now I'm going to start feeding that into the new door. All right, so I've got the new door mostly back together. I haven't clipped in the panel yet. I connected everything in the wiring harness, but now I'm gonna turn on the car and make sure the window rolls up and the locks work, everything works on the door before I clip it in. All right, locks work, window works. Now I just gotta tighten in the screws on the window regulator. All right, door fully clipped in. One last test. Window's good. Both locks function. And then I'll test the folding mirror and the turn signal and the speakers when I turn the car on, but I don't want to turn it on right now, so I'll test that later. But I think it's all good, so let's get back to doing the fender and headlight. Fender and headlight are back on. It's looking really good, starting to look like a real car again. Gaps came out pretty good so far. I'll probably do some more adjustment to just make it look a little bit nicer. Edge along the door also looks really nice. This fender is used. The only little nick I saw was this little corner. There's a little paint chip on it, but it's looking really good. All right, now that I have the front end a little bit more back together, I'm gonna get back to doing some body work. So I think I'm gonna working this door a little bit more. I already put some filler down on this end, but I'm gonna work out this edge to shape nice to the new door that I put on. And same thing, I'm gonna put on some filler, then putty. And then once I get it to the same state as the quarter panel with some primer and black primer on top of that, I'll get to wet sanding. All right, now that I've got this filler sanded down a bit, I'm gonna put on a layer of putty over it to fill in these pinholes and just get a nice even surface. And then after that, I'll clean off the area, tape around, and put down some primer. So I went ahead and wet sanded the quarter panel of the door. You can see how much it reveals by taking off that top layer of primer and even a little bit of that bottom layer. So it turned out pretty well. It's pretty flat. There's some spots I need to work out, some low spots over on the quarter panel and this edge of the door. And I want to get that knocked out and put a final layer of primer on, and this will be ready for paint. That's it for this time. Thanks for watching.